And if I can just have a hand. And perhaps if we can use let me just turn a little bit to the side. On the side of your finger, you have fewer nerve endings, so you don't feel it as much.
That's okay. I get used to it.
Do a little finger prick, and I'm going to take one little drop. So now if I can just have you flip your whole hand over, yep, just like that. And I'm going to add one little drop to each of these applicators.
Oh, okay.
George, I think you've done this before.
Maybe once or twice. One of these has changed where it looks like the red part got this sandy gritty look. If you'll notice, that is the second one. The first, third, and the fourth one didn't change. So if you pull up that sheet there, you notice that when the only one that changes
This
is
one?
the second
Or this
one.
one?
Yes, the one you have in your hand now.
This one?
That is the B negative indicator. So you'll see that B negative is when the second one gets the sandy gritty look. So you have a relatively rare blood type. In fact, in the United States, blood type Bs make up about 10% of the population, and there's about 80% of those blood type Bs are B positive. So you're about in the 2 to 3% of the population. So your blood type, and I found that blood type Bs and particularly B negatives quite often have some challenges that maybe other people don't have.
Would that not necessarily be passed down to like your children?
It is. Let me explain. There are 6 people that provide input into your blood type. That's your 2 parents and your 4 grandparents. So at the moment of conception, it's like there's this blood type lottery. Those 6 people are kind of all throw their hat in the ring here. You're going to either be like or one or more of those people. So just for example, let's say you had one O parent and one B parent. Well, you could have, let's say, an O negative parent and a B positive. You can get the B from one and the RH factor for the other, or it could be a grandparent. And then there's some blood types that are considered dominant or recessive. Just for example, B is typically a dominant blood type compared to O, but if a person was a B, they could still pass on that O gene. A and B are considered equally dominant, so if you have an A and a B together, statistically about half the children will be A's, half will be B's, but 1 out of 9 times they produce an AB that has both of them. That's one of the reasons that's the rarest blood type. So anyway, those 6 people, the last 2 generations, they're putting input as to like your blood type.
Oh, I see.
And then other genetics like even hair color, eye color, other features can go back 4 generations. So yeah. Strangely enough, I found that our blood type and genetics follow very much like biblical principles.
Well, figure that.
Well, just for example, when God gave the 10 Commandments, it says, I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers to the children, and to the 3rd and 4th generations, and to them that hate me, that show mercy to thousands of them that love me, keep my commandments. So yeah, our genetics also go down 3 and 4 generations as well, but blood type only goes 2. So, yeah. Blood picture, like I said, it's better than most people that I see here. I mean, actually much better than mine, even when I was managing a health food store here, because just the fact you said you don't eat fast food, if you only just did that, that puts you 90% ahead of the rest of the population just by staying away from the fast food. So, just, yes, you're already ahead of the game just by doing that. Where they grow all the farm-raised catfish, even the salmon there. I says, do you notice one of the things, there are these ponds, and any farmland it's going to be at the lowest area. I says, where do you think all the pesticide runoff goes from all the corn? Well, they feed these fish genetically modified corn and soy, just like they feed the cattle. Well, as you know, genetically modified corn is not salmon's natural diet. And so the farm-raised salmon is also very high in omega-6s. Omega-6s promote inflammation, cause us to store body fat. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. They cause us to burn stored body fat. Well, the salmon gets their omega-3s when they're eating the algae, the seaweed, that's a natural part of their diet. It's the equivalent of their greens. And when we feed these animals the corn and soy that are high in omega-6 oils, well, how can they get their omega-3s? I also found that grass-fed meats are actually, like cattle that are grass-fed, have nearly as much omega-3s as wild-caught salmon. So when cattle
Really?
get their green vegetation,
Yeah.
they also have omega-3s. But when they're feeding corn and soy,
Yeah.
they're going to be high in omega-6s, which gives beef its unhealthy reputation. And so for that reason, I found many blood type A's will do fine with beef as long as it's grass-fed. Animals, I believe, need to have the diet that is natural to them.
Yeah.
And so I found when that happens, it's amazing how they can be healthy source of nutrition. But when we decide we're going to do something different,
Mass produce them.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right. That's when things have a way of backfiring at the same time.
Okay.
And
You're saying if it looks like this in 6 hours, you're okay. If it
Yes,
looks like this for only an hour, you're
yeah,
not.
okay, yeah, there we go. And so what happens, since our body will only absorb iodine to our skin as we need it, if your levels are normal, it'll take 6 hours for that stain to go away. So I'm doing it about 12:30. So that means for both of you, it shouldn't disappear before 6:30 this evening. If you
Okay.
can, try to look at it each half hour. You'll notice it'll just gradually disappear. Now, when I first did, I put it in my hand. Mine was gone in 20 minutes. What happens if you're low in iodine, your body won't waste any opportunity to get it, and the faster it disappears, the more you need. More like the level that Japanese get on a regular basis. Since seaweed is the richest source of iodine, as well as the seafood that comes out of the sea, they're typically getting, on average, 100 times the RDA of iodine in the United States just through their diet. Those that do the seaweed harvesting and the fishing are getting more like 1,000 times. They're some of the healthiest people in the world.
So what do you?
So iodine is a big deal for your health.
It is a big deal. And good question about what you have to eat.
To boost it.
Yeah. Seaweed is the richest source in the U.S. We don't really eat seaweed or food that comes out of the sea. Another reason why, just kind of getting it out of their natural habitat. Let me explain. Back in the 1930s, this area of the upper Midwest was known in the medical field as the goiter belt. There was an epidemic of people with growths on the throat, the back of the neck. That's when they did the soil studies and found that American soils have some of the lowest levels of iodine compared to anywhere else in the world. Goiters, this is back in the 1930s. That's when the government mandated that salt be iodized, and at the same time, every slice of bread used to contain 150 micrograms of iodine. That was the RDA for iodine. Well, in the 1980s, they took the iodine out of the bread. The same year they came out with Synthroid. Of course, that was just a big coincidence. They weren't trying to sell more Synthroid. But in either case, what happens, I see another round of people with these iodine deficiency symptoms. They go to their doctor, maybe low energy, sluggish metabolism, difficult time losing weight, dry, itchy skin conditions, maybe more likely to have constipation. And so in the past, testing your iodine used to be the first thing they did. Now they don't even do that. In fact, I had a person say, yeah, my doctor put me on Synthroid. In fact, he told me not to take iodine. Well, it's because if you have iodine, you typically don't need Synthroid. And so, anyway, that's kind of the way they've done business now. But anyway, iodine is not only needed to nourish the thyroid, it plays an important role in blood sugar metabolism. It's a critical part of what the body needs to eliminate toxins, including metals. One of the things that